Welcome to my first monthly setup for January 2021. I'm excited for the new year and to start my first ever bullet journal. I wanted to create a theme that felt like winter where I live, so that means cold and dark mornings and waking up before the sunrise. So the first spread is a skyline at the break of dawn with a colorful sky. We haven't been seeing them loads lately, as the sun seemed to have abandoned Sweden. But as I say this, it's actually sunny today, so I'm heading out soon to recharge my vitamin D storage. And the sky actually looked quite similar to this morning, maybe not quite as colorful. I tried out using watercolor in my Archer and Olive notebook after failing when I tried to use watercolors during my yearly setup. I don't know what colors I used or what brand, as I had them for ages and they were actually gifted to me from my dad. It did not bleed through the page this time as I used minimal water. It was, however, quite hard to blend and cover the page when using this little water. The finished result came out fine. I just knew I could have had a much better finish if I could paint normally. I will try to paint on watercolor paper and copy it the next time, as the buckling actually bothered me a bit. It also came out a bit streaky and uneven, but adding the clouds in with white gouache, as you will see soon, helped a bit. So you can see how it's quite streaky and the colors really didn't blend together. And I knew I could have done much better if I just used normal watercolor paper. I could have used more water and blended more evenly, etc. So I will try that for my weekly spreads this month, I think. I just need to be able to copy, and I don't have a copy machine at home, so we'll see how I solve that problem. So here I come in with the gouache, and on the first page I quite liked how the result came out. On the other page of the cover page, I think I overdid it a little bit on the gouache. You will see there's a little bit too much clouds maybe. But I think it helped with the streaking. I got to cover some of the more streaky parts of the painting with the gouache, so I think that worked out fine in the end. Yeah, there you can see I went a little overboard with the clouds. And I would have loved to be able to blend them more with the other colors as well. And I filled in the moon a little bit with the same gouache. And for the skyline, I used my Faber Castell brush pens in the colors green gold, and then a lighter cold gray and a darker warm gray. I don't know the exact colors of the grays. And I used them for the windows. And for the actual buildings, I started out using a Edding calligraphy pen, as you can see here. But It was quite difficult coloring in with it, so I will switch to my tombow fudenosuke. I don't know how to pronounce that actually, so yeah. But it just gave a much smoother result. The pen I used at first came out quite streaky. I will go back to it soon and try it out a bit more until I finally realized that it would be much easier to just use the other pen, the tombow one. I just thought that pen would speed the process up a bit, but it was just hard to getting straight lines, and I don't think it shows up on video, but it did come out quite streaky on just this building. The other ones came out fine. And I think the skyline looked quite good. I was quite pleased with the finished result with the windows and everything. It just looks like walking for an early morning stroll, how it looks like here, especially right now after Christmas with everyone having advent stars in their windows. Yeah, that was a fail with the white gel pen, so I went in with the black fine liner, writing my quote. The quote I used for this theme is "Small progress is still progress," which is something I need to keep in mind during going into this new year, to have patience and be consistent. And I felt that the cursive simple font went well with the theme, and I liked how that came out actually. And then I wrote January next to the moon, and it is not misspelled. That's just how you write it in Swedish, so it's Januari. And the next spread I kept quite simple, trying to avoid using too much water, and it actually did bleed through here at one spot. I added some clouds as well on this page later, just to try to limit some of the streaking. I should have waited a bit for the watercolor to dry though. And this first page is my calendar page, which you will see soon. But I will go on to the next page, and I actually didn't get the part on video, as you will see. I need to work on my filming skills. I will notice in a little while and correct it though. So on the other page I will start with my mood tracker for the month. I'm just gonna wait until I notice. I just painted a little, kept on with the sky theme, but used more one color. Oh, here I noticed. Perfect. So the mood tracker will be a house to keep in with the theme of a skyline. And the colors of the windows will vary from yellow to light gray to darker gray, depending on my mood. I think I should have included a larger spectrum of colors, as I have had a hard time filling it out. Just your mood depends a little more than 4 different colors I think I used. Yeah, and I think this mood tracker will look really good once it's filled out. I'm quite excited about it, and I actually love the idea. We'll see. Sorry if you can hear background sounds. Trying to film living with other people. And here I made some habit trackers, just some quite simple ones. And then I also made a to-do list because I do have quite a bit of things to do this month, but I don't know when I will get around doing them, so I just wanted a to-do list. And here I'm drawing out my calendar, and I don't think I will use a lot of space, so I made quite a small one. I write most of my things in my weekly spreads and on my to-do list, so this is just for an overview. And yeah, it's nice to include a calendar just to keep on track with the dates and stuff. And then I made a little dots for the dates with some watercolor, and I actually wiped them up with some paper because I didn't want it to bleed through, and I quite liked how that came out. And then I tried writing dates with silver, but it didn't really show up, so I went in with the black and it showed up great. And after this, the page felt quite bare still, so I just wrote out a little cheesy quote, and that's time for a fresh start. Typical New Year's, but the page just felt bare. And then I wrote out the days in silver, which actually showed up great on the black. And then I went on to make my first weekly spread, but I made it quite simple. I painted some skies on the side and some buildings, and I will try out some different layouts to try and find which one works the best for me when it comes to space, etc. Yeah, just trying to use minimal water, as I already noticed the buckling. So the first layout is this quite simple horizontal layout, and I wrote the days of the week in that same simple cursive font. And I think this will be more than enough room for me to write on. And I wrote the weekdays in Swedish if anyone thinks it looks weird. And I also made one for the next week, just to be able to keep on track with stuff. And for the buildings, I used the exact same pens as before. The same for the window and the black tombow. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that again because that was embarrassing. And I actually did find this quite therapeutic, filling out the little squares and just filling it in with black. But by this point I was getting quite sick of it, so I just wanted to get it done. But I do, however, think all the buildings came out great. I think they look very good, and the contrast towards the sky looks really cool. But yeah, it was a little bit tiring. Oh, and I'm on the last building. Yeah, and I skipped it. Perfect. And then filled in the windows. I think that's what made it really come together, the buildings, the fact that they had different colors. But looking at it now, I think I should have kept some of them white maybe. Look quite good. Like an office building on some finance district maybe. Some people working late. Not in my buildings. And then I went, let's see, I went over all the spreads, creating some details. I added some white and gold speckles over the sky. And I don't really know whether they look like stars or snow. Maybe more snow as it's dawn. But whatever it looks like, I felt like it gave some dimension to the spread. And I started out using my Tippex pen for the white, as my white gel pen didn't work very well. But I did, however, switch back to the white gel pen as the Tippex gave quite an ugly finish. I'm heading out soon, though, to buy a new white gel pen, and I think I will buy a jelly roll pen, because that's the one I use for the gold, and it works very well. I just think it made the skies look quite pretty. And yeah, here I added some lines to frame the painting, as the lines were not very straight. Maybe I should have used some washi tapes for the painting. And I will work on my filming skills. Sorry for me coming into frame, I was obviously getting really into it. And I added some stars or snow or whatever to my other spreads as well. And it really came together. And obviously my bullet journaling is a work in progress along with my filming skills. This is the first time I'm using a bullet journal. I have used a regular calendar before, so I'm quite excited, but it is hard and it is a lot getting used to. Also filming, I find that quite difficult with the angles and having everything in frame without getting me into the frame. And also I feel like I cover what I'm doing a lot of the time with my hands. I tried thinking about it filming this video, but I need to think about that moving forward. So hopefully it will get better. We'll see. Yeah, really getting into the frame there. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm adding some gold as well. And this is my finished monthly spread for January, and I will upload a video of my other weekly spreads this month. But until next time, have a good one. Bye.